Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Handmade by Ying with Donna. Today is October the 3rd at 7 o'clock p.m. And tonight I have fabulous guests with me from the Soya Brothers. Now, how cool is that? Y'all have them in high demand, and thank goodness I scored, and I have not one, but two. Now, how great is that? Tonight I have Tiakum and Zach with me. Hello, guys, and welcome.
Welcome. Hey there, how's it going?
Thank you.
Pretty good. Thank you for taking time tonight. I know you guys are always busy out there and building and networking and everything, but thanks for taking your time and joining me tonight. I greatly appreciate it.
It really isn't work.
Oh, thanks. Can you guys tell some of my viewers just a little bit of history about yourselves, like wife, dog, pets, whatever, just something little. I'll let you bounce off of each other.
He can go first.
Okay. I have my dear wife. We have two kids. Our son is almost 3 and our daughter is 9 months. And as far as pets go, not really an animal person, but I do have some fish.
Myself, my name is Tiakum. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Cheyenne. We have 3 children. My oldest is a boy. His name is Raiden. My middle daughter is Mercy, and then my youngest daughter was just born maybe 8 weeks ago, brand new baby.
Congrats.
And her name is Clarity, and we are just so happy to have them. And
now that's a beautiful name.
Thank you. We include a little bit of scripture into all of our kids' names. So my boy's name's Raiden, but his middle name's Levi, and so there's a little bit of scripture in all of them.
That's awesome. I heard, like, back when I was starting my channel, I always end my chats with, God bless you. And some people are like, you got to keep God out of it. Well, I can't. Right. It's in my faith. It's in my heart. So love me or leave me.
Amen. Well, we've said it for a long time. We had someone just recently say that you could never be successful if you mix business and religion. And we said, well, we believe that he's the one giving it to us. So we're going to keep on doing it.
Absolute. So one of the questions, I normally have my streamline of questions, but there's too many tonight from the viewers. And I'm skipping the chat tonight. I hope you guys understand, but you guys sent in a ton of questions. Thank you guys for joining us. And we appreciate each and every one of you. If I get time at the end, I'll swing in and look for questions. But for right now, it's really important for me to head straight into this interview. So one of the questions is, where did you guys go to college and what kind of degrees do you have?
Well, I'll
answer, a smart one, right?
I'll answer that for the group. I went, because I'm the only one with a degree at this point. I went to the community college here in Nevada, or here in Las Vegas. And then from there, I went out to BYU, Hawaii, and got a bachelor's degree in psychology. I then went to UNLV back in Nevada and got a master's of social work. I'm a licensed clinical social worker or therapist for all intents and purposes.
How cool is that?
I made it like 6 classes and I dropped out. I'm going to be honest with everyone. Exact opposite.
But that's okay. It's not for everyone. Next question. You're going to like this.
Now I'm selling fabric, so it wasn't for me either.
Next question is cute. Where did you guys meet your wives?
No, go ahead.
You've got the cute story.
I've got the cute story in the family, guys. So I met my wife at a local church program. It's called Seminary. I met her when I was 15 years old. I dated my wife all through high school. So she's my high school sweetheart. She was my first and last kiss. And so I've been with her for a very, very long time here. I served a mission for our church. It was a 2-year proselyting mission. And when I got home, I married her about 4 months later. So I have the classic high school sweetheart story.
How cool is that?
Yeah. So I've known her now for over 10 years. And so it's been absolutely wonderful to have her.
Awesome.
And then you?
I met my wife online. My wife is originally from Peru. And I had been looking around for a long time, and actually after serving a mission also for our church, I started looking, and it took about 10 years, and I exhausted all of the resources around me. So I went online, and hey, it worked.
You can't beat that.
Right.
Whatever it takes.
And big shout out. I'm not sure if we're supposed to do that on your channel, but
You can do whatever you want.
shout out to our wives. They are really the backbone of So Yeah. They if it wasn't for them, So Yeah would not exist. They've supported us in doing this random crazy idea that happened to have worked. So we really, really love and appreciate them for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Let me see. Can you give us a little bit of back history about your parents, your siblings, and things like that? Like mom and dad, they're active in the business, right?
Kind of.
It is absolute. How'd you say it? Our mom absolutely loves. Well, she loves us, which we're very grateful for, and she loves that this thing that we're doing is working. And so she comes and she gets her little snack set up, and she comes and moves fabric during our shows and organizes bundles, and it is just pure play for her.
Yeah, my parents don't do anything in the business. We run the business. We started the business. My mom has, I don't know, 30 some unpaid invoices that we just, whenever she decides to take them, she takes them. This is my mom's playground for sure.
Yes.
And my dad is an absolutely amazing father and husband, and he's supported all of us, obviously. But we really lucked out in the sense that we got old school parents. Okay, so I'm sure you guys guessed I'm a millennial. Okay, and everyone loves that word these days. But we were raised really an old school traditional kind of family. My dad took us to work with him. My dad was a construction worker for a lot of years. So we worked in the dirt with my dad for a very, very long time. He taught us how to behave, how to treat people. My dad was a true gentleman and really hard worker. And so we lucked out on parents. We are so grateful and indebted to them for the service and everything that they've done for us. I'll tell them a little story. Let's just show how old school my dad is, right? And my mom. I was like 12. We all have the same story, just a little iterations are a little bit different. I was like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 years old, right? You know that age when teenagers think they're better than everything?
Yeah,
you know that,
absolute.
I remember it was the first time and the only time this ever happened. I backtalked my mother. Right. I told off my mother. I was king of the world. Right. Want to be my own man. Again, guys, remember 12, 13, 14 years old. Right. This isn't the war. And my mom walked away and I thought I won, won. And then my dad, a few hours later, it would have been 4, 5, 6 hours later, my dad walks in and says, "Hey, I heard you got a new phone." I grew up in the technology era. My dad's like, "I heard you got a new phone." I said, "Yeah, I did." He's like, "Oh, let me see." He takes my phone and literally just folds it in half, crumples the whole thing. My dad's a very, very strong man. Crumples it in front of me. And he said, "I heard you backtalk your mother." I said, "Well," he said, "your life as you know it just ended." And he took me to work. I was only like, I guess technically speaking, I don't think that's legal, but he never paid me. So I guess that's
slave labor.
Right. And I worked 12 to 16-hour days with my dad in construction for probably 4 or 5 months. And my dad would always tell me, like, "You're going to be so tired that you won't even think about back talking." And then guess what? I learned to respect women. I learned to respect my mother. I learned to work really hard. I learned not to complain. I mean, my dad really taught us life lessons, although we thought it was a punishment. But we were never grounded. He never grounded us. He never...
I can't say I ever had that experience.
My other brother had that experience.
I can't imagine that, right?
Yeah. Well, he got the worst. He was in like 9 months. He just took longer to learn the lesson than everyone else did. But yeah, so we're so grateful for our parents, very old school, traditional type parents. And they taught us how to be good, and taught us, well, we were talking about this just a minute ago. They taught us how to be good Christians, good fathers, good husbands, because that's what my dad is to my mom, and my mom's a amazing mother and wife. So we just grew up old school, I guess.
And they set the bar high,
Right.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
At the time, you might not have been thinking it in the beginning of that punishment.
Oh, well, in the beginning, it's like, wow, I hate you. You know, like, why would you do this to me? And then by the end of it, it's like, can I just
Thank
stay working with dad? Is that an option? Like, can we just do this forever? Because, you know, you learn to respect and love, and because you know they're not doing it for punishment, they're doing it to help you.
Absolute.
Although it doesn't seem that way in that moment, but
Right. But
good
it's so
hopeful for it.
cool. You're gonna like this one. How did you guys pick the name for the business?
Well, that came about because
I wasn't here when they picked the name,
Yes.
just so everyone
Oh,
knows.
so you had nothing to do with it, did you?
Yankum was actually on his mission, and we were sitting around and we're going over this idea.
I'm not there.
Yeah,
Just letting
he's
everyone
not
know.
here. He has no idea about any of this. We're sitting around going over this idea and rolling over different names, and we're like, well, what about, like, how did it go? So at the time, and well, even still now, Yankum says, so yeah, all the time. And so we were like, well,
They're
how
making
about-
fun of me
how
while
about-
I'm not there, is what
No,
Wave's trying to say.
No. How about so yeah? And my mom gets all teary-eyed because he's on his mission and she's missing him, and then that was it. And it stuck. And so yeah became the name of the store.
Well, and you'll come to
And
realize.
it's also kind of in our personality. It's like, we're gonna do this. So yeah.
Well, and
love
you'll come to
that.
realize how much you say that. People say it all the time and they have no idea that they're saying it. And me, I repeat words a lot. I understand that. I talk quickly. You've seen me on the chat and on the streams and all that. And to start a conversation, to end a conversation, I use so yeah.
Mhm.
You know, like you just met somebody, you in that awkward moment and you're like, so yeah, I gotta get back to work, or so yeah, whatever. And I use it all the time. So that's
And
why.
it's true. That works out great. You're gonna like this. Can you walk me through the process of like how you guys began your business? If sitting at your mom and dad's place and it was just like an idea, or
So yes, everyone, how the story goes, and the story, I'm not going to say it doesn't have all the details, but some of them just aren't relevant to the story. For instance, I wasn't there when this whole process was happening. I was currently serving a mission for our church. I only had a couple months left on my mission. And I got an email from Brody saying, hey, we're opening a quilt store. You in? ? That was my entire email. No backstory. And you know what? I consider myself to be a good timer. If there's a good time going on, I'm totally down to be there. And so I knew my family was starting it. I knew that was happening. So I said, sure. But everyone was, how the story goes, everyone was sitting around the kitchen table. And my mom has the most nuts ideas all the time. She's an amazing person. But like my mom would be like, hey, why don't we open up a cupcake store? Why don't we open up a salmon hatchery? Why don't we open up, like my mom is, if it seems fun, my mom is
she's
like,
down for a good time.
yes. And she said, why don't we open up a quilt store? And we didn't know anything about the industry. My only thought process of quilt store was Joann's. So not a good idea. But my family traveled a little bit. They were looking through things, doing all that kind of stuff. And we landed in a quilt store. We, as in my siblings, did. And they saw that a quilt store wasn't Joann's. First of all, that there's sewing machines that are worth that of cars.
Mhm.
That was a big eye opener for us. That people are genuinely good people in this industry. We don't all come from the same background. We don't come from all the same interests. Zach came from the background of therapy. Brody, for anyone who doesn't know Brody's the brother that's in between us in age. He is a thrill seeker. He loves the thrill. And so he was in school to be a paramedic. I've always loved the automotive industry. And so we didn't come from the background that you see what we're currently in. But we found an industry that we could raise a family in, that we didn't have to worry about a lot of things I had to worry in the automotive industry. Don't get me wrong. Any of you out there that work in the automotive industry love the automotive industry, but I didn't necessarily want to bring my 2-year-old daughter into the car auction scene. It's
Right.
not the prettiest place for kids. So we found this industry, the quilting industry, that was so wholesome that most people in this industry, I would say 99.9% of people in this industry are amazing people. They're genuine, good people. And we fell in love with that. We fell in love with the business of creating something, of making something, the artistry of that. On top of, you can't go wrong with quilters. The quilters are as honest as the day is long. It's just what it is.
And they have the best hearts.
And they have the best hearts. And you know what? I know for sure, and this has had to happen in the past, just out of life, is that, you know what? If you see kids running around the shop here, they're ours. Okay. They're terrorizing everyone in the store, but they are safe. The people love them, whether or not they're a stranger or not to my kids. The genuineness of just the love for my children always gets reciprocated for me, of just like, I love these people that they care about my children enough, and they care about us enough to support us here locally, to support us here online, to support us in, well, every facet of life. This is our income as well. So we did love the industry, and that's how we ended up here. Is a wild idea, thinking we could make a living at it, and then the people.
How cool is that? I think that's awesome. So how did you guys pick location number one? Was there like, oh, I see an empty building, or did you have to research? And
there was our parents have a different business, and the building next door to them became available, and so all the pieces fell in line, and we got that building, and then we rented it out
we had no clue what we were doing.
Yeah, zero clue. So but we rented it and renovated it and started, and then we actually had tried to purchase the building several times throughout the years, but the owner just wouldn't let go of it, and he wanted way more for it than it was actually worth. But then just a few months ago, somebody came in and offered him his asking price, which was way over what the value of the property was.
To give you,
he said, "Okay, great, sold it."
I'll just tell you the numbers. His building was worth $1 million, and he was asking like 1.4, 1.3.
No.
And someone came in with a cash offer and bought it. Like, good for him. He held out and he made a nice fortune off that building. But
yes, and we were looking for a new place and couldn't find anything that fit right. But then, like, those small and simple things that you hear about, everything just started falling into place, and all the other options that we had looked at, something wasn't right. It didn't fit. It wouldn't work. And then
we put an offer in and they just disappeared.
Right. And then this one came and the doors just opened and everything worked.
Yeah.
So then it's perfect for what we need.
It's perfect for what we need. This location right here. So we are very grateful that we moved from our old location to this location. We are the furthest point away from Las Vegas from our shop is like 20 minutes. So we are the most centralized place as far as you can get. We cross all the major highways. Like we're a really nice location. We're very fortunate that this building became for sale, and so we were able to, again.
Well, it had been on the market for a while. It had been closed down for a long time, but for whatever reason,
it just never sold.
Yeah,
but we were able to purchase the building. So we are. Let's be honest here. The bank owns the building. We're still making our payment until we're probably dead. You know how those payments are. And but we're very happy to be here. We're very, very grateful to be here. And we've remodeled the whole thing. We plan on staying. So we redid everything in the building. And so it's bigger than what we need today. Gives us enough room to grow into, on top of hopefully proofs us for the future.
Right. You just don't want to move again, right?
We'll move probably in the next 5 to 10 years, probably.
You think?
Yeah, we would love to. It all depends on online. It all depends on in store. It all depends on all those kinds of things. We opened up retreats here a couple weeks ago, and that's been a ride so far. We don't know what we're doing still, and if people want to do that, then we'll have to move things here a little bit, open up more space to the front, and we'll see what the next 5 years bring.
Yeah, that's one of my questions. Rumor has it that you have started retreats. What does your retreats entail?
We don't know yet.
It's a rumor. Okay. Let's just put that out there. Today it's rumor. Okay. This was maybe what?
Well,
3 months ago?
Not rumor. We have a retreat.
We have a retreat. There's not
planned
retreats.
next week.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's where the rumor kicks in here. This was maybe 3 months ago, 2 months ago. Anyways, people have been asking us to do a retreat. Now, if Soya is going to do a retreat, we don't just halfway do things. Everyone knows that about us. Everyone knows that about our brand. So we said, okay, listen, how many people are interested in doing a retreat? We had 400 pre-signees. People said, I want to come, which was shocking. That was shocking to us.
Really?
Well, we only had like 600 people on the chat. So that was like a 2/3 of everyone said yes to this retreat. And we said, okay, we'll figure this out. So we figured it out. And if Soya is going to do a retreat, we're going to do it big. Okay. We don't offer it's not a weekend retreat. This is a full week retreat. It's Monday through Friday. It's a big, long retreat. We opened it up to 75 attendees. It sold out opening day, which was still shocking to us. And we offer all sorts of different stuff. Like if you are local, there's a package for locals. If you're out of state, if you want to come with people, if you want your private room, like we offer all that kind of stuff.
Lodging, RV space, whatever. There's different options.
Different options
cool.
there. We do everything all inclusive. So that just means all you need to bring is yourself. And then you need to bring your sewing supplies, your ruler, your cutter, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But your lodging is 100% provided for. Your sewing machine will be provided for you. You get a free class every single day. There's an a la carte class. If you choose to purchase that, you can. Breakfast and dinner every single day. A night out on the town. Lots of different stuff like that. It's going to be a 5-day party. We just don't know you don't know how parties end, so we're going to start the party and then we're going to see what happens by Friday.
It's just going to go wild.
It should. And we have an amazing team here. We really can't stress enough the team here. Our floor manager has been heavily involved in this, and she's got all the decorations. She's got all that kind of stuff. So we just had 8-10 pallets, something like that, of all the sewing chairs and all the sewing machines and all that just arrived today and yesterday. So it's gonna be a trip. We're gonna see what happens. If the event is successful, we plan on doing one at the beginning of next year. But that will be announced as if things get further down the road. We don't know yet.
I missed that first one, or I'd have definitely been down for that one.
Well, and if it works, so if this one works, I'll give everyone, don't tell Brody. Brody's not here. He's actually not in the state right now. Can't tell you where he is, but
undisclosed location.
Yes. But that means I can tell things because Brody's the one that tells me not to tell things. So if this event works, which we hope it does, okay, there's no guarantee, obviously. We'll have one at the beginning of the year, probably February-ish, right around there, which will be fun. Obviously, dates to come if that works. And then the next one after that will be mid-year, June or July. And then the next one after that will be a cruise. So that's where things will get very, very crazy. And then
that's
the cruise, we're hoping to house 200 people on the cruise.
Oh, that'll be a blast.
If it works. Again,
well, it's cold where we live in February. So
yeah, we're thinking maybe like an Alaska cruise. So be able to go up to Alaska, do all that kind of stuff. And then there's some detail. We plan way too far ahead and we just go with it. So obviously the first event has to work and all that kind of stuff. But if it does work out and we do progress to that, it will be, we're going to go for the best quilting cruise ever. If you're going to try something, you might as well.
Go big or go home.
Right. So we'll see what happens there, but that will be to come.
Absolutely. Someone in the chat, I'm swinging over there real quick.
Yeah.
When are they going to start seeing the murals in your warehouse? Are you going to be showing those?
You know what? With the way things are set up, we have the front of our building, which is the 2/3 of the space, and is there our show floor and our offices and all that. And the back third is our warehouse, and it is in constant revolution all the time. And there's pallet racks and shelving and and the process of our business going on all the time back there. So
well, this is what I'll do though for the people. Obviously, you got to give the people what they want all the time. What I'll do is on Instagram or Facebook or one of those platforms, we'll start posting some of them. We'll use them as backdrops. What for anyone who doesn't know, so our warehouse used to be white. Every wall was white, every table was white, and all that. And this is an offense to anybody, okay? I don't necessarily like walking into a hospital. Okay.
Amen.
Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. We had a crazy pregnancy with my wife and my daughter and all that. I am so eternally grateful for doctors and nurses and all that jazz. Please don't think anything other than that. But when we got into the building, I said to Brody, like, this is a hospital. Like, everything is white. Every wall is white.
Sterile.
And the floors are polished concrete. So it just is that. And we contacted some friends, and Raimi my little sister was pretty much in charge of this whole thing. And they got a hold of local artists, and we said, listen, guys, we're going to give you the best blank canvases you could ever ask for. Flat walls, all white, as big or as small as you want to go. We're going to offer this out to everyone. And we had some amazing, talented artists come in from all over Las Vegas to do these amazing murals in our warehouse.
Wow.
So we have like a flamingo, we have a pug, we have a Aboriginal one that was done, amazing longhorn, robots, space. I mean, you name it.
How cool.
And so we had these amazing
we said we'll buy the paint if you'll buy the paint and provide the canvas if you want to come and do something. And we had them all like bring their portfolios and show us their artwork to make sure that they knew what they were doing.
They had 3 rules. Nothing like profanity by any means. Nothing that could be taken as political. That was one that was big for us. And then the third one was like nothing inappropriate.
Like vulgar.
Yeah.
Vulgar or demonic or anything like that. Our kids run through the back of the warehouse all the time. So we want them to see nice, happy things.
And as far as the political one goes, it was 100% mainly because we were moving in as COVID was happening, and so everyone had different opinions on it. Everyone still has different opinions on it. We believe that everyone should be able to believe whatever they want. So we're happy with that. But I don't want something. I don't want to take a picture of something and people will be like, oh my gosh, it's not worth it. Especially at that time period when we were all still scared. We didn't know what was going on. And so, yeah.
That's true, though.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see. How did you plan for the layout? Is it laid out anything like what store 1 was versus the main store? I don't know how you are labeling them. The original versus how are you doing it? Store 1, store 2?
Current store. Well, there is only one.
When
the old building was the old building.
When was the last time you talked about the old building?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
One thing, this was actually, I think, mostly Tiankum's brainchild, but nothing is nailed down currently. And we have all of our shelving units, which they're not screwed to the floor. They're secured and stable and all that, but they're just back to back these custom shelving units that we built to where they can just be freestanding. And if need be, if we need to expand our classroom, for example, we can just move the shelving out of it. We can,
how cool is that?
Unscrew them and move it. Actually, our classroom wall is the back sides of our shelving units right now.
Yeah.
It's not finished yet, but we're still growing.
Well, so 5 years ago, sorry, I'm a storyteller.
It's okay. That's okay.
5 years ago, or I guess it's been longer now, 6 years ago, you have to realize where we came from and we knew nothing about this industry. So it was like day 2 of being open. A lady walked into our store and she said, hey, Tiankum, where are the fat quarters? Now, me being who I am, I said, ma'am, no idea what you're talking about. But if you tell me what it is, I bet you we have them, because I just didn't know the terms. And she said, well, it's a ½ a yard cut on the fold. And I said, ma'am, you know why we don't have those? We just cut them off the bolt here, because I had no idea what I was doing at that point. And so we cut fat quarters off the bolt. And still to this day, we cut fat quarters off the bolt for all of our fat quarters lovers out there. We cut fat quarters off the bolt because we offer this wide variety of fabric. We should offer it in in fat quarters. So that was 5 years ago or 6 years ago. When we opened up location 2, or whatever you want to call this, our new location, it was completely different. We had taped out every last shelf on the grounds. We taped out every last table on the grounds. We knew exactly where everything was going. We knew what all the product was. It was just a whole different experience. And when we're doing all this, it was like, okay, take all those shelving units, you're gonna put them right there. You see the line? Make sure it's right there. Like, we knew exactly how it needed to go. And we offer things that are different than a normal quilt store. Like, if you can never stand in our store and not have 4 feet of space. Everything has 4 feet of space. Like, every aisle has 4 feet of space. You can walk by each other in the aisles. It's not close or compact by any means. We offer 20,000 different SKUs of products, and it's more like walking through I don't want to say grocery store, but it's much like walking through a grocery store.
I was just going to say that it's roomy. I don't want to say
it's
big,
spacious.
I don't want to say big box, because we're definitely not big box, but it's big box space. If that
Right. That makes sense.
And we have an aisle for Christmas, and we have an aisle for basics, and we have an aisle for solids, and we have an aisle for this. But it doesn't feel like that, because everywhere you look, there's a display. We're a display-based store, so that means everywhere that you can put a display, we put a display there. Like, we have a full queen-size bed in here. We have 2 different couches. We have, I don't know how many different chairs now. We have 5 different.
Really inspired by IKEA.
Yeah,
quite frankly,
love IKEA.
Our store has kind of become the SoKia. Has kind of that vibe to it. Of here's what you can do with your products.
Well, I love everyone to have a moment. Okay, I believe in moments. My mother, going back to mom here, my mother is a moment planner. Okay, so like, you spend 300 hours to have a 30-second moment. Okay, and that's a moment that's going to be with you for the rest of your life.
Absolute.
I believe in that. So as you walk around Soya and our store and all that, we have so many little displays. We have so many homemade stuffed animals, dolls. And, I want people to be able to walk around and say, I want that for my granddaughter. I love that quilt. She would love this. I want them to have that moment, not as a sales tactic, as a, if they see it and they love it, they've been inspired.
Absolutely.
They've had a joyful time in the store. We don't care if you spend 3 hours in the store and you buy a fat quarter. That doesn't matter to us. We want you to come in, have a good time. And if you want to buy something, buy something. If you want to just hang out. That's okay too. You would not believe the amount of husbands that come in and just hang out here.
I was going to say, you need a hangout corner for the guys.
Yeah. There's about 4 of them. And every guy is different that comes to the store. We had one gentleman, a friend of ours, he was sitting on the couches that are in the middle of the store. Like, you walk into the store and you see the couches, and we've got these guys hanging out there. And it was the funniest little moment. They're all sitting there and they're talking about the game and they're doing their thing and all that. And he looks over and he sees this lady and she's matching materials. She's doing one of these. And the guy leans over to her and he's like, listen, ma'am, I don't want to bug or don't want to bother, but the one on the left will be way better than the one on the right. And so you have these guys giving suggestions on this. And you know what? The guy has an eye for color. I know him personally. And the lady was just so charmed that these guys were enjoying themselves, but they were also there because they had wives there and they were enjoying the atmosphere and just kind people. And we like that. We love people that are kind and trying.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
that is. You're gonna like this. When you had your opening day, what would one highlight of your opening day be? The crowd outside waiting to get in, how it went.
The popcorn.
It had to be overwhelming.
Highlight. We went from one register till system to another. We reworked our entire electronic system.
This would be a huge highlight for Zach because he spent hundreds of hours.
Highlight's the wrong word, but this is memorable. We'll call it that. So we reworked everything, and when we opened, not everything was functional. We were maybe 90% functional.
We never tested it, is what he's trying to say.
Oh, no dry run or anything.
We did the best that we could, and you know what? It's nothing is quite like actually opening day.
Mm.
And so I was going to help out, and I had gone through a training with our floor team, and I was going to help out for a little bit in the morning, and just in case there were any bugs or any whatever issues that came up. And I looked at my watch or my phone, and it was, I started at like 6 that morning, and I looked down at my phone, and it was like 2 or 3 o'clock. And I had been at the till checking people out the entire day, and just nonstop craziness.
And the registers were just perfect. Like it was a miracle that these things didn't just explode, first of all, and that the wiring wasn't bad or whatever. It just worked.
There was a lot of finagling to
get it working,
to get through everything. But that was that day. And since then, we've worked the kinks out. We're getting better every day.
Really good now. For me, this was kind of a weird moment. So
actually, I do want to say something.
Yeah.
This happened just today. As I was running around before the meeting, I come in the door, and one of our floor team, she's like, "Hey, this customer wants a gift card, and something or other, it's not working." And I said, "Okay, let me see what's going on." And she had one of our old gift cards, and because we had switched from one system to a new system, the old gift cards we had, they didn't mesh, and so there was, you had to like manually type in that like 26-digit code into the system in order for it to register, which is a nightmare. And she had an old gift card that didn't have a code on it even. And I said, 1 second. I went in the back, grabbed the box of our new gift cards, went up to the till and scanned the QR code on the till, and it put the dollar amount on it and plugged it into the person's cart, and it was ready for checkout. And that I felt really great about, because that's the point, that's the level that we're at now. And
how cool is that?
We haven't ever been there. We've been a long ways away from that.
For me, so obviously the people came out. It was a wonderful time. I don't want to, the congratulations and the welcomes and all that were just absolutely amazing. One thing that happened that was really odd for that day was that we had this random quilt store, owners come into our store. They've been in business like 2 months, a month. And they said, they came in, and I was having to be standing there. I was just doing my thing, talking to everyone, which is pretty much what I do these days. I enjoy the people. And she said, "Can I have a moment of your time? I would like to pick your brain about a quilt store." I said, "Yeah, sure. Like, what's going on?" And she said, we just opened up. She was so excited and all those things. And it was really weird that we were the store that people were asking questions about. Like,
how cool is that though?
That was a really surreal moment for me, because it's like, I go to everyone, like people, I'm sure some people hate me at this point, because I go up to these amazing stores throughout the United States. And I'm like, "So how's business?" Like I want to talk to them about their stores, because they are these giants in our industry. And it was the first time that someone came in specifically looking for us to talk that way. And you know what? I gave her the best pointers that I could. I sent her on her way type deal. And then I heard from her fairly recently about, some of the ideas failed, because ideas sometimes fail, but a couple of them sticked, and they're doing pretty well in business. So we're very, very happy for them out there.
How cool is that?
That was a surreal moment for me, but obviously everyone coming out and being with the people, that was the best part.
One of the questions, I had to jot it down, so I didn't lose it. They want to know if you'll talk about your fabric line, Not Your Mama's Garden.
Yeah, sure.
Can you fill us in? Because I must have missed that.
Do you want to go grab a pre-cut real quick? They're on the far back left shelf over there. Zach will go grab a pre-cut for you so we can show it to you guys. So Not Your Mama's Garden, we are fabric designers for Benartex Fabrics. I'll tell you like super fast condensed version of this. Anyways, what happened is we've been told for a number of years that you can't be a fabric company. You can't design fabric and be a quilt shop.
Really?
And we were like, I've got friends that do this. Like I know some designers that own stores and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, through this whole mix, we said, listen, we're going to not only become designers, but we're going to do a collection that is a tried and true collection. People are going to love it. It's going to be an amazing collection, all those kinds of things. And I called a friend of ours from Bendertex and I said, listen, we really like to design for you guys. We didn't call, we made one call to a friend of ours. So we really wanted to design for you guys. And this is why we want to design for you guys. Number one is that you don't sell to any kind of chain store whatsoever. They are only a quilt shop brand. So that means a lot to me because I know my quality of goods will stay good.
Absolutely.
And I said the second thing is that you reprint goods. You'll reprint this. If it sells out, you'll just keep printing it, which means a lot to me as a quilt store owner. It sucks when you go to buy one more bolt of this and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and the third thing is we really like them. They're friends of ours, obviously. And they said, listen, send in artwork. So we sent in our artwork and it was Not Your Mama's Garden. We sent it on and I remember the interview so clearly because you have to get interviewed. You have an approval process and all this.
Right.
And they got our art on the notepad, and they're looking at it. And he says, we definitely don't have anything like this in our portfolio. That was the answer. And we're like, so are we in? Well, what does that mean? And he said, listen, we don't know if it's going to work, but you guys and your brand and everything, we'll give it a shot. The worst case scenario is that you're a one and done,
Right.
And we said, okay, just print it. We're going to do the best that we can to market it. We're going to do all of our things in that. And it came out about 2 weeks ago. Not Your Mama's Garden. We got our first round in. It sold completely out, which we're very thankful for. Not only that, it's on its second edition of printing. So it's been sold out across America and it's going to second printing, which we're very, very grateful for.
Wow.
We're very, very grateful for it. And we just got approved for a second line. So we're very, very happy. I'll show everyone. So this is our line. I'm not sure how well it's going to show on the camera here. And I've got the extra lights here. So it's a K-faceted-esque feel to it. We use a different color palette than he does, though. So this line is all purples, blues, greens, oranges. It's very, very bright. It's very, very vibrant. It's called Not Your Mama's Garden. You can pick it up at local quilt stores. That's where we recommend you get it. We won't have another run of it until probably another week or two. So check your local stores. A lot of them have it. A lot of the big name stores have it as well. We're very, very excited about it. And then as far as design goes, it's got a beautiful butterfly on it. It's got lilies. Lilies is my wife's favorite flower. And so it's got the fun of soya. It's got the color palette of purple and green, which is a tried and true color palette. And you can do anything with it. If you want to make it a modern quilt, you can. If you want to go more of a traditional style, you could. We try to fill everyone's buckets as much as we can. And it's been an amazing collection. We're hoping for round 2, obviously. We actually, I'm giving out secrets here. They just approved round 2, as in we've already designed it. They've already approved it. So you're probably going to see it in this next release to the public. So that won't be for another
So that's going to be another print of the same, or is that going to be a second?
Whole new line. Yeah.
Okay. Question for you.
Yeah.
They didn't ask it, but I will.
Yeah.
At one time you were doing patterns with certain fabric lines.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing one that one of you guys have wrote with that one?
Yes. So yes and no, in the sense of this one right here. There's 3 patterns coming out for this line. They are 100% pre-cut friendly. So I think it's a charm, a layer cake, and a jelly roll. Just because we understand that a lot of people, when they're supporting us, not everyone has a budget of $500 to buy a 1-yard bundle of everything. So we want to make sure it was budget friendly for everyone. And our 3 patterns are free to the public. They come out, I think, next month. And so you can just get them off our YouTube channel, 100% free. We were trying, do the best we can to keep it affordable, and not only that, we price matched all the quilt stores locally. And so if you come in and buy Not Your Mama's Garden from us, or you go buy it from your local store, it is exactly the same. It should be the same price or really close to it. So we're not price gouging. We're not dumping fabric either. We designed this line so everyone can enjoy it.
Did all 3 brothers have their eye in this, or did your mom help with the design of that one?
My mom didn't do anything.
Well,
Nothing. Mom's not the
family-
designer.
It was definitely a family effort. Everybody had greater or lesser parts in different aspects of it. But yeah, it takes a team to make it come together.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, absolute.
and there are so many different facets to this that people never get to see, and that's something that Soya is focusing on for 2023, is letting people see it, like see what actually happens. Like once we send this art file, it's then digitized and then produced in multiple colorways, and it's produced on different repeat scales and all this kind of stuff, and it's sent back to us. And then there's an approval process from us saying, hey, the flowers are too big, the flowers are too small. Hey, we said it was going to be purple, that's a blue. Like there's a lot of that goes back and forth, because when we send in an art file, so like Not Your Mama's Garden has, I want to say 12 pieces in it, 10 pieces. And then there's 2 different colors of a lot of different pieces. And so we send in the original file, and then they say, okay, like, let's do it this color, this color, this color, this, and then we're vetoing this color and we're doing this color.
Oh,
And
how
then
cool.
they send you a strike off. So that's a low quality grade good. So it's not very good fabric, but it just shows color. And so you have the actual fabric in color, and you're like, like that orange was actually kind of vomit color instead of the more ombre color like it should have been. And there's a whole process that goes on with it. Like we gave the art file to them in November of last year.
It takes months.
It almost took a year. And so there's a whole process involved. And then number 2 version is a little bit faster because you already know what your color palette is, let's say, or you already know how the companies work with you and stuff like that. And so it's a whole process. And I took the rep side of the process because that's what I do. I do inventory.
Right.
Brody did the management of the logistics of everything, and then we have opinions on all different colors from everybody. And yeah,
How cool.
it's way more than people think that artist just writes up the artwork and sends it in, they're done. It's
not that simple.
Well, and something that this is contrary to popular belief here, guys, I'm spilling the tea now, is that designers don't make very much money. Okay. Designers design for the love of design. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we did this because we wanted to produce something that everyone could enjoy. We loved that aspect of it. And a lot of designers, the way that they're showing their artwork is through patterns and through notions and through all that kind of stuff. And so support them the best that you can. Okay. Support them in the fabric, support them in the pattern, because a designer that makes a pattern may make 50 cents to 75 cents per pattern, and so it takes a lot of patterns to make a living at it. So if you're grabbing their line and you can afford it, check out one of their patterns. Every little bit helps them for sure. For us, we're giving away our patterns because we are in this to help all the shops. We want to make fabric that everyone wants and all the shops can have as well. So
I just think it's beautiful. I must have missed when you did that one because I knew you had been designing, but I didn't realize it had already released yet.
About a week and a half, the next set of this will come in, and you'll be able to get it then. It's going to be the same price as last time. I mean, we don't change very much, but it's been a good time. It's been a real good time.
The other thing was with the economy the way it is right now, and everybody else's prices are going up. You've had a little bit of a price, but not a lot. You didn't have to.
Well, we do try to keep the prices down best that we can. Obviously, if there is inflation, inevitably the price has to go up. But we
have to pass it on.
We try to hold it back as long as we can.
So this is the secrets here, guys. It's
the hard end of the business.
It's the hard end of the business. Is that Soya runs differently than most quilt shops do across the board. Okay. We believe in, we try to do the best that we possibly can. And some people love me and some people don't. Okay. That I'm just be honest with everyone. That guy that asked for a discount on everything, That's me.
That's you.
Okay. And it drives my siblings crazy. I mean, we're at McDonald's and I'm like, is there a discount for that? You know, that's just how I've always been. I love the interaction of that. Again, I love people. And so I'm that guy. And so I'm also the fabric buyer. So a lot of people love me and a lot of people hate me because when I place orders and stuff like that, I'm a price driver all the time. And so as prices went up, we've really, really pushed on, you're keeping my price the same, because what I'm doing is different than what everyone else is doing. And I'm really, really trying to provide fabric to everyone. And we're really pushing this as fast as we can. I'm a big believer in ask for discounts. The big believer though in that is that don't ask for discounts if they're already giving you a discount.
Right.
You know, so yeah, we are going for the discounts all the time. We're trying to get the prices down as low as we possibly can. And you know what? We sell fabric on Saturday nights at $6 a yard. You really cannot beat that price. We have people all the time like, can I use a 10% off coupon on that? I'm like, it's already 50, you know, but it's just because they don't understand. They think it's like an inferior good or something like that. And it's not. It's the best quilting cotton that you can buy. So we really, really focus on pricing. Inevitably, probably at the end of this year, you'll see a price increase just like everyone else's.
It has to.
But ours isn't going to be from $12 to $15. Ours is going to be very, very slow moving. And we lock in pricing for a year most of the time, which most people don't. Like when I'm ordering fabric. So again, secrets here with you guys.
Spill the tea.
Right. The tea. So 2 days ago, 3 days, how long ago was that? Last week time, I saw the new fabric release for 2023 Christmas. That's how far away we are in fabric releases. So when I'm talking about people of like, guys, I just order this cool stuff, it's gonna be absolutely amazing. I can't talk about it because no one even knows it exists yet. It's so far past. It's impossible to say, guys, this year's Christmas is amazing, but you should see next year's. You know, it kind of.
I used to have to order so far ahead.
So far ahead, and so I'm a first-time buyer, so that means right when fabric comes out, I'm buying. Okay, and my reps know me for that. Like the fabric drop will come in, and within an hour, I have reps calling me saying, "Guys, you should do this. You should do this." So that there's a lot of that, and so I'm locking in pricing for an entire year. And so I'm not ordering in January to get stuff in March. I'm ordering in January to get stuff for next January. So it locks in my pricing for the entire year. And then even worse than that, then I'm like, can I get a discount? You know, so like I'm always pushing that discount because our pricing. So last year in 2022, our pricing either stayed the same or went down. So we've really, really pushed for that. We're hoping to maintain pricing for 2023. I think you're going to see a slight price increase. That's just me personally.
It has to.
But I don't think it's going to be crazy. And whatever it is, D-stash will be the 50% equivalent. You know, if fabric gets pushed to $14 a yard, then soya is going to go to $7 a yard for D-stash. We'll really try and push for that for everyone.
Oh, that's cool. COVID, how did that play a role in your business? Did that help mutate you over to YouTube when you streamlined into the sales? Can you tell me anything about that?
Yeah, we were hugely blessed during the COVID time.
And that sounds wrong. Okay, just let everyone know that sounds wrong. You know, like
there were several things that happened during that time that we do feel very blessed for. We were the only store in Nevada and in the surrounding area that could get medical grade elastic.
Right.
And so we were able to stay open. There was that, and also we have the contracts to service the machines that repair all of the first responder uniforms. So Vegas shut down everything, and we were able to remain kind of open on like a curbside to go type basis.
Which was nuts. You pull up to a quilt store, you say, I need blue fabric, and we're hauling bolts of fabric to you. Like it was not the best time period.
Right. There were definitely some hoops to jump through. But we had the police called on us several times of being illegally open during those
Are
times.
you kidding?
We showed them the papers as we are a necessary service because of the elastic and the first responder
We
uniforms.
brought in over 100,000 yards of elastic. We were the
Wow.
only supplier of elastic anywhere close to us. And you know what? We had people calling us saying, like the hospital called and was like, I need 10,000 yards of it.
Mhm.
And you know what? We did our part in that we sold it for cheaper than anyone else surrounding us. I mean, at that time period, we could have price gouged. Everyone knew that we could, but we didn't. I mean, it was a low margin product for us, and it was trying to help as many people as we could. But you also have to realize we had rent and we had employees, and
Right, you got to pay your bills.
we still had to pay our bills. Like, we couldn't do it for free, but we did it for pretty close to it.
Well, this
Absolutely.
is, I mean, when it's all said and done, this is our business. This feeds our children.
Yeah.
And so
Absolute. And that's exactly what it is. It's a business.
And
yeah, but additionally with that is also our YouTube sales. And we sell brand new fabric every Tuesday night, and as Tanya was mentioning, our kind of trade show pricing every Saturday night. And that occurred, started off with the trade show pricing side, or D-Stash. That occurred at the beginning of COVID. We, as far as the specifics of, we won't go into, but we started off with those black buckets with the yellow lid you can get from like Lowe's or Home Depot, like 12 or 18 gallon buckets. We filled up one of those buckets with 3-yard cuts or 5-yard cuts or something. And we thought, you know what, we are going to go live on YouTube and on Facebook, and we are going to just see if it's even possible to sell this bucket of fabric.
well, and
Wow.
two things there. If we could give it all back and not have COVID, we would.
Absolute. We all would.
We're very grateful that we benefited from it, in the sense that we finally had more people looking into the sewing industry. And the second thing with this bucket thing is that this is a whole different time period. It seems like a whole different world for us, is that everyone was in trouble, right? I mean, globally, everyone was in trouble. You shut down business for that long, people start having problems. We had this black bucket of fabric. We said, we need to see if we can do this. Now, we had 50 products. It was maybe, I don't know. It wasn't that much money of product, right? I think it was like, maybe it was $1,000, maybe. Okay. And we said, you know what, if we can sell this every single week, we can employ our team, we can pay our rent, but not only that, most importantly of all, we won't have to cancel orders. We were really big on not canceling orders, because if we thought we were in trouble, what about the manufacturer? Like, they're the one who's fronting next year's bill already.
Absolute.
They are in serious trouble too. And for some reason, right, we opened up D-Stash and it went viral. It went crazy for us. And when everyone realized that COVID was going to be a positive thing for our industry, these manufacturers, because everyone started canceling orders, right? The manufacturer said, listen, Soya didn't cancel, send them whatever they want. And so that's how it all kind of started, is that we hit the right moment. We were going to stay true to our beliefs and do the best that you can. And then all of a sudden it was, hey, can we get, 13 pallets of fabric? Hey, can we, like, it was kind of weird because we weren't the best accounts in the world, like there are way bigger stores than us.
Right, but you were the constant.
And it just goes to show that good people and people who try to do good normally get good in return, because there were deals that were made that they shouldn't have done. Like they shouldn't have done them for us. I remember calling it an account. I remember calling an account that we did almost zero business with, trying to figure out how to keep D-Stash rolling because it was all new to us. And I said, listen, can I place this order? And the person responded and said, that order is larger than your entire account history. I was like, yeah,
right, but it's legit. It's not shady at all.
And like, do you think you would be willing to do this for us? And he said, yeah. And I said, but we can't pay for it. and they said, you know what? you have been so honest with us and you've been so good to us and everything like that. We'll send you this. And we hope you stay in business, like, and the craziest thing, because how D-Stash operated and how crazy it was during COVID and all that. I called them back 3 weeks later to place another order,
How cool is that?
and paid them all up front. Not only that, they were the very first company for us that I called them. I said, every last order that we have with you, send it. Like, we want to make sure we take care of everyone, because it sucks for everyone.
Absolutely.
We are the 1.0001 percentile that were really good in that situation. So as many people as we could help along the way, we tried.
Well, and,
Yeah.
and something that I actually saw it come up in the feed, if I could. Catherine Sophie Kiddis said, "You built a community for us when we were all isolated." And
Absolutely.
that was something
Yeah.
at least for me,
So yeah,
that I hadn't considered, and it's something that's been really touching to see, is how good the people in the quilting community are, and just, I don't know,
Well,
there's so much good that you see and that you hear about just on our lives, for example, of what people are doing. I was talking to somebody a couple months back now, and we had a problem with some orders. We had ordered some pre-cuts, and they had said that they were one size, but they ended up being a different size. They ended up being smaller than what we thought they were, and smaller than what we sold them for.
we were so stressed. We were so stressed.
Yeah,
We had already sold them all.
we sold off all
They were
the-
all sold, and we sold the wrong
all
thing.
these fat quarter bundles, and they were actually fat 8s. But
Oh, no.
the order said fat quarters. But anyway, so I was calling people up and saying, "Hey, here's what happened. We can refund you for the difference." And I called a particular customer, and she was so excited. It almost, I mean, for me, it's a little weird, because I am definitely not somebody who likes to be in the spotlight by any means.
Right.
But she was so happy to talk to me, for one, which is kind of odd. And she just said, "Oh, you know what? I love watching the show, and I'm retired, and I don't remember specifically what she said, but what it came down to was she sews exclusively to make charity projects for other people."
Mhm.
I mean, that is what she does. That is how she spends her time. And you know what? There's really no better way to spend your time than in service of others.
Absolutely. I'm a strong believer in that. That's how we built the beginning of ours. Is anybody that hangs out with our channel, we are charity based. 90% is charity.
Yeah, which is the best.
It said, you built a community for us when we were all isolated. And
Yeah.
that's true. I don't know how many times that my husband and I would sit in the living room and wake up with hangover invoice, because
Right.
we were like, oh, this is cool. Or, oh, hey,
Yeah.
you'll like that, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it was never a regret. We were always blessed, because you never knew if I got it. And I don't know how many times one of you guys would say, hey, you're behind in the chat, go to live chat. At the time, I didn't know it. Live
Yeah.
chat, top chat, I didn't have a clue.
Well, we didn't know what we were doing. We were absolutely winging it for the first long time, and trying to. I mean, the
You had to
system.
fake it till you made it, babe.
Yes, the system to do what we do now didn't exist then. We had to find it and build it and create it and piece things together to make it work.
Absolutely.
Well,
Someone said, did you get any community awards for the service that you provided with them?
Not in Vegas. No.
No, I can't imagine you're not one of the casinos.
No. Well, and the thing with YouTube, like, I don't want to be a discouragement to anyone who wants to try what we do or anything like that. Go for it. But we get people all the time that call us, and I'm happy to talk. Like, so tell me how, like, this worked, and like, tell me how this, and tell me how this. And no one likes our answer, because the way that we did it wasn't the best by any means. For instance, we were on YouTube for 4 years prior to COVID. And it actually was a cost to Soya. We lost money every month on YouTube for 4 straight years. And we built up a community base, and we built up our subscriber base. And we did all these fun things. And then we had a apocalyptic event happen, and we went live, and it worked. And then people are like, oh, so what's the secret sauce?
Well, no,
COVID.
I mean,
no, it worked.
you know, like
It worked, and then we
spent the last 2 years of our lives dedicating ourselves to learning how to make it better.
we
You know,
we
it's-
worked 6 a.m. to 9 or 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday until all the orders were out, and until everything was packaged, and we can't. And not knowing what we were doing, I remember one time, I don't remember what we had done. We had screwed something up.
It was the very first time.
The orders were already packed. They had the labels on them ready to go in the mail, and we had been going for a little bit because there were a lot of orders at this point. And something had happened, and we had to take them all out. We laid them across the entire floor of the store and had to track down what had gotten mixed up and tear them apart and then repackage them and get them into the mail because people had ordered this product.
And no one saw that, luckily. No one saw what we were doing because people see what we do today, and it's the reason why we shout out our team so much, is because we've had a guy in here in this room for a brand new setup that's coming out, that's being launched tomorrow. And there are so many pieces of electronics,
which I'm not overly happy about, by the way.
There's so many different pieces of electronics and cameras, and we have a film guy that all he does is film us, and we have an editor, and we have a graphic designer, and we have all these things. And when people see us today, they're like, "Oh, I'm going to jump in and do that." I'm like, "Yes, but go back to video number 1. Don't look at what we're doing today."
Please,
No, you got to crawl.
Go back to video number 1.
It was horrible. We were in my mother's basement wearing batik shirts in front of a fish tank, selling fabric out of a bucket because we hadn't seen our family that day. So our kids were running in the background, and we were trying to sell fabric, and we were selling fabric, and people on the feed are like, "So are you going to ship this?" Like, oh, we didn't even think about shipping. Like, that's how green we were. And I want everyone to see that first, because today people see us and we go live and we have a good time, and it's 2 years down the road, and 3 team members later who dedicate everything they do to that. It's different.
Yeah. Annie of Handmade says, "I remember the long beards in the fish tank."
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was episode 1.
That was
the
episode
original
1. It's the reason why we mentioned the fish tank is because if we mention the fish tank and people have seen the fish tank, that means you've been here since day 1. There was no video before that. There's no video.
Well, I mean, it was. Well, I mean, if you look at our YouTube tutorials, our original ones, they're cringy. I think
We
about
actually-
that.
we actually
I
just
think
took them
about that.
down.
Oh, good.
We just took
Thank
down our
goodness. I think
originals.
about my original videos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope nobody goes back that far.
Oh
and
yeah.
then that's just our tutorials. Then you do being live. I mean, we've ruffled some feathers in the past because we're live for 4 hours twice a week, every single week, at a minimum.
You're not going to make everybody happy.
And we don't get any outtakes.
Yeah. Well, were you part of Balthazar's Bazaar by chance last month?
Do I?
Were you part of the Balthazar's Bazaar last month?
Mm-mm.
So we had this event. It was Balthazar's Bazaar. We went live every day, Monday through Saturday, for 2 hours a day. And
for the entire month
of September. And at the end of it, we looked down and we're like, we've been live for 120 hours this month.
Holy moly.
And that's why I say, guys, if you want to start this, if you want to do that kind of stuff, start with 50 products.
Be my guest.
It's going to be mayhem. It's okay. It's totally okay. But if you aren't enjoying it, then don't do it, because it's going to be 2 years of that.
Absolute. So let me move along a couple more questions. And you guys let me know when you're done gabbing with me, because I'm having a good time.
Well, we're having a good time. We can be here as long as you need.
All right, darling. Some people tell me we don't need to be bringing my Christian faith into the YouTube. How do you guys feel about showing your faith? Because I catch some flack sometimes for always ending mine saying, "God bless you."
You know what?
I think we got to keep God in it.
Well, we're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We are very open about that on our lives, in our lives and on our lives, and in everything that we do. And we've had the same kinds of comments that, you know what, you can't mix business and religion and this, that, and the other. But you know what? The world needs good people of whatever faith. The world needs good people who will fiercely stick to their beliefs and defend what is right.
Well, and seconding that a little bit here, I get hate mail once a week. I'm notorious for hate mail, right? It's part of who I am because I talk more than everyone else, so I get the most.
You're just an easy mark.
Yeah, and when it comes to religion itself, that's the best kind of hate mail to me, like by far, because I'm like, yeah, we talk about the stuff. We don't care what you are, like if you are a Catholic, a Baptist, an atheist, it doesn't matter to me. If you're Buddhist, we have some really good friends who are Jewish, like it doesn't matter to us. What matters to us is that you do you, that you're happy, and you are helping everyone. You're helping someone, because without the helping someone and without you sticking to some kind of belief, where's the compass? Where's the moral compass? Where's the, like you got to be doing something good in the world.
Absolute.
You're doing something bad in the world, like I don't think very many people like those people, it's kind of,
Well, if you say this, if you're doing something bad, you're probably not going to get any criticism because you're going to be going right along with whatever the world is doing. And look at any person who's made a difference in society at any level, they've received backlash for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and we don't know where they come from and why they're that way and all that kind of stuff. Love the people, help them out. Like we have a apostle in our church. It would be like a high priest, I guess, for most other
Right.
religions. We have this apostle in our church, and he said something that was absolutely amazing to me. He said, if you treat everyone like something tragic has happened in their life, you would be right 50% of the time.
More than 50% of the time. And
that's true. Your friends, your family, you don't have to look far for tragedy. It's not that hard. I had one 8 weeks ago. My wife had a placental eruption with my daughter. I almost lost both my wife and my daughter. And I could have flown on the radar and no one would ever know. I could have done that. I could have just said, oh, there was a little scare and all that kind of stuff. But I came out and I told everyone about it because tragedy strikes. You don't get a pick when it happens, and you need to just be good to everyone because I look like 100% put together, life is amazing kind of guy. And I almost lost my wife and daughter, and that's okay. It's okay to talk openly with people. It's okay to tell people why you're okay. I'm okay because of God. Like I know that either way I was going to be okay. And that's why I'm okay. Maybe you're okay because you believe in a higher power that isn't the same that I believe in.
Right.
Maybe it's because you're just a better human being than me and you can just be good all the time. But it's what I do. So, and it's what we all do.
Have you ever been advised per se, hey, keep your religion to yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Or your business won't grow? That's kind of where we're at. And I'm like, when I get the shady emails or whatever, I'm just like, have a great day and God bless you. What are you going to do?
Exactly.
Yeah, where our response normally is that we believe he's the one that's blessed us.
Mm.
And this is a big one for a lot of people. If I'm willing to bend on that one, imagine why I'm willing to bend on fabric quality. And no one likes that. And so I stick to my beliefs and it keeps everyone very happy.
Absolute. Let me see. When and how did you all know it was time to bring your dad into trashing sewing machines? And by the way, that was fun segments. Are you still continuing it?
We've tried a lot of different things, and we have tried to find things. We have tried to incorporate, like as Tiangam said earlier, we weren't raised in this. We had no background in sewing, like at all, when we came into this. And so we tried to incorporate things that seemed fun to us into what we were doing. So we used to have kind of a variety show called the Soya Show. for anybody who doesn't know that.
To answer your question, it will be coming back too. Just we need a second to settle down, but go ahead.
Yes, but one of the episodes was called "Will It Sew," and where we would just put sewing machines through tests that would definitely void your warranty, and they were never meant to go through. And then Tiank would work his magic on them and see if we could get them to sew again after that. We brought Dad on because we grew up with Dad having a good time.
Well, and this is Dad,
And
okay?
we also need somebody who's more mature and a little more responsible.
Well,
You
and
could add some damper to some of the damage.
well, I remember I went to my dad. This was episode 3 of the So Yeah show. We had just sewn underwater, and the other one we had just, I don't know what episode 2 was. My mind's failing me. Episode 1 we sewed underwater.
Upside down.
Oh, episode 2 I sewed it completely upside down. It was super fun. Episode 3 I go to my dad. I'm like, hey Dad, listen, we want to light a sewing machine on fire. He's like, okay. Like, do you think you can build a flamethrower? And my dad's very, very technically, like he's a smart guy. He said, that is an absolutely horrible idea. And like me, I'm like, shoot, it's like, how far does it need to fling fire? Just like 20 or 30 feet. That would be cool. I'm in. Like that's how my dad is. Like
this is a horrible idea. But let's make sure you do it right.
And my dad's like,
just want you safe.
I'm gonna be there so you're safe. Oh my goodness. The flamethrower one is still one of our favorite episodes.
That was so cool.
It was so cool, and it was not. It was extraordinarily safe. Just to let everyone know, extraordinarily safe. We used CO2 to project the flame,
Right.
which means the container can't blow up. There's no air inside of it. All that kind of stuff. But if you watch the very next segment, or maybe the segment after, and you look at Brody's head, he's all red here. He actually got sunburnt from the flame. It was absolutely amazing. Crazy. It was crazy. So much fun though. So much fun. It's coming back. It's coming back, but you have to realize that if we're coming back, it has to be crazier than what we've already done. So
and also we are continuing to expand the business in as many areas as we can think of. And so it does take a little bit of time, as Tiango said, to reset, to get our bearings, and to figure out how we can do something and sustain it.
Yeah,
because there was a lot of camera time making the So Yeah show as we were trying to keep the business afloat and build the D stash and do all that this stuff simultaneously. So we have to kind of solidify some things and get them running efficiently before we can branch out to another aspect of things.
And we're doing the show for fun.
You can see the fun in it. I'm not being, but that's hysterical. It's kind of like you can brush off the whole week's stress and just have some good times.
And like, I'm not going to be able to out tutorial the people that have been here for 10 years already. We're not going to be able to. I'm not going to be a better tutorial person than the people out there. I still make tutorials. I still love it and everything like that. But it is way, way too much fun doing the other things too. And so that's why we do them, and we have a good time with it. And, actually 2 of our D-Stash customers have offered to do a Will It Sew with an airplane. So we're very excited about that one. So we'll just see where that goes from there. I said skydiving. People have vetoed that idea, but it wasn't.
I think that would kind of be fun as long as you remember to pull the string.
Right.
It wasn't vetoed. It was just trying to figure out who was willing to do it.
I'm not.
You wouldn't do it?
Oh no.
There's no good reason to jump out of a plane that there's no problem with, right?
Yeah. I've got my own fears in life, and airplane falling just doesn't need to be on it.
Absolute. One of the questions, and I've gotten multiples on this, was moving the store. Y'all made it look easy.
Yep.
Wait a minute. I'm sure it was a large undertaking, and y'all had your hands full and all hands on deck. But what about the fabric in the notions and trash bags? How in the heck did you come up with that idea? Same question, but that's how.
So that's not the first. That's not the first by any means. So yeah, buys out quilt stores pretty often, 5 to 6 times a year. we have friends that say they're done, and we buy out their inventories. We do all that. We learned that the best way to move fabric is you can fit about 15 to 18 bolts of fabric in the really large black trash bags. It keeps them safe. It keeps the dirt off of them. It keeps out every kind of bug. It's just this easy way to do it. So we've been doing that for years now. And then when it was time to move the store, we all sat down together, and I was like, Brody, so how are we gonna move this quilt store? Trash bags. Well, what other way, you know? And so we just used up our last bag of trash bags from the move. So we were finally out of the bags of bags.
Yeah, I personally had to go in and look and see how you did your walkthrough, and I couldn't believe it looked like half a warehouse.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I was like, wow, but that's a good way to do it.
If anyone needs to move fabric, that's the best way to do it. It's not going to hurt the fabric. It stays clean. It's easy to pick up.
Absolutely.
You know, and we're really big on that.
Now that the move is behind you and business is back to normal, what have you all learned? Any glitches? If you ever had to move again, you've learned and grown from this one.
Oh, if we move again, when we move again, it's going to be semi trucks, not trailers. Oh my goodness, the trailer loading was ridiculous. And so we'll palletize everything. We'll put it on big rigs and send it to the next location. Because
and we have a loading dock now, which is really
we have
nice.
a loading dock now, so we can do that.
That'll make it a lot easier.
So you have to realize that everything that we moved in from the old store to the new store was moved by hand. It was 100% manual. There's no other way to do it. And so next time it can be done by machine, which will be, it still sucks. I'm not going to lie to people, but it'll suck less, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like when you move at home, you know? You don't realize how much stuff you have until you have to pack it.
Well, and next time, well, the thing that was really hard is that when we couldn't sell as much as we wanted to sell in our time frame, because how short our time frame was, and also we couldn't sell enough of it because the fabric still hasn't fully recovered from getting your shipments in. And so it's like, if we sold everything out, then we moved to the new location and have nothing. So it was kind of this tug of war thing that we had going on. Next time, I have no idea what we'll do, but for sure, pallets, lots and lots of pallets. We love
absolute. So feel free to answer this one. I'm getting many emails on a segment that you and/or Tiankum had done that viewers can't seem to locate. Something about a person Tracy from the Sewing Channel did, and they can't seem to locate it. Can you fill me in on that segment?
That was me. I went out there to visit with her, do a video. That video is going to be released. It's going to be way more like a raw video. Essentially what happened, huge shout out to Tracy. She's absolutely amazing. I went out there. It was fine. We did everything that we were going to do, all that kind of stuff. And then right afterwards, we lost our camera guy during the editing of that process. So we have video files in a bunch of different places and all that. Our new guy, who's amazing, has gotten through all of our files up to that one. And so now it's time for him to put that one together and release it. We're hoping to release it in the next like 30-ish days. But it's going to be kind of a random release because that was back in like April. So it's kind of just like a random release. But
so you went to location and shot with her.
Yeah, I went to location with her and shot with her. It was a really good time and everything like that. Unfortunately, just with our life timing and the camera timing and the camera guy timing, it just went hectic, and you can't stop everything to produce a video. You know, like we still have all of our other videos that we have to produce. We have our shows. It just kind of got in the mix a little bit, but it will be coming out, and it's going to be on One Block Wonders. I'm super excited about it because that's my favorite quilt.
Okay, and you did evidently a block, or did you just make a quilt?
One Block Wonder.
Okay.
Yeah.
They just said a quilt block.
Yeah, One Block Wonders, absolute favorite quilt out there. Every time I get to mention it, I do. So it's one of my faves.
Okay, and do you have any projects in the works now that you could spill the tea on?
I think we have
Projects in the work. Yeah, I'll throw out a couple here just so you guys have them. New software tomorrow is being launched, so stay tuned for that. If this software works, it's our trial run tomorrow. If the software works, it's going to take Soya to a whole new level of online entertainment for our shows and stuff. We're super excited about it. We're really hoping that works, so stay tuned to that. You may get the camera angle that everyone's been asking about.
Ooh.
That cam. It's going to happen for Zachtober. We're really excited about it. He's even excited about it.
So excited about it.
Oh,
He
we're-
looks totally thrilled.
I'm stoked for that. So that's something that's coming up here. So stay tuned for that. Another one is that we've got the announcement of Balthazar. So my little sister just got engaged. And so you're going to see him on the show here soon. I think it happens in November, I believe, beginning of November.
Yeah, I think that was one of the questions, and I just didn't get back to it.
Yeah. His name's not actually Balthazar, but you guys can meet him and all that kind of stuff. Really, really good guy. Another one here is our whole studio set is going to be redone, which is going to be nice. We're going to put a new studio in. So yeah, show will be coming back towards the end of the year, which we're very happy about. New fabric line coming out. New subscription box at the beginning of the year.
That's one of the questions. Do you have a new one? And
new subscription
can you
box.
spill a little tea on it? Is it going to be project based? Is it
So
just
this one's gonna be completely different than any of the ones that we've ever done. So the grunge box, huge success. Basics box has been a huge success. We've absolutely loved being able to provide the information. It's been really, really awesome. And it's stayed full, which is absolutely awesome. And we feel so blessed for that. Like we never thought we'd ever have a subscription service that actually worked, and so that it worked, that was amazing. Our next year's subscription service is going to be based on I try not to give away everything here. The new subscription service is going to be based on more of us in a lot of ways, a lot more of you. There's people that you work with and there's people that you like to work with.
right?
Those are different things. Some people that you work with, you're very, very acquainted with. It doesn't mean you go out to dinner with them. It doesn't mean
Right.
And so this next box is way more on going out to dinner kind of people,
Oh, cool.
and it's not just going to be all fabric. It's going to be a mixture of everything because those people don't all sell fabric,
Mhm.
and we've got some really large scale partnerships for that coming out. We've got approval on some things that we never thought we'd ever get approval on. So we're very, very excited about that. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be 100% different. We don't want our subscription boxes to be stagnant, like the same thing every year.
Right.
So this next year, I'm pretty excited for it. Brody is stoked for it. Brody's super, super excited for it. For me, as far as inventory goes, it's going to be way more of a logistical nightmare than any of the other boxes before. But I think it's going to be way fun. I think it's going to be awesome. So.
Oh, that's so cool. Let me see. I asked you about the Advent.
Advent will come.
Not going to do an Advent at this time. Let's leave that open ended.
I would much rather do a partnership with Santa Claus or something like that, and come out with an amazing box or something like that. Or one thing I've thought about doing. Speaking of Advents now, so you've got me on this Advent thing now, because you said it. I'm going to figure out how to do it now for next year.
I mean, I'm being honest, 61 of my subscribers has asked for that. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but if that's on just my small channel,
No.
can you imagine how big it is out there?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'll do, guys. Okay. I cannot do an Advent this year. It's not possible for me to do it at the scale or at the quality that everyone wants and at the price point, because my price negotiation tactics take time. You got to let them simmer sometimes with these companies. actually they just don't like me to call them up and say I need this in a week. It's really what it comes down to.
It's getting on their nerves, right?
Oh yeah, I sometimes feel like I'm just like the thorn in their side sometimes, but we love them. We love the
But
sales.
when they quit taking your calls, that's when you know
Right.
you've aggravated.
But someone's asking. I just saw. I've got your chat up on my side too. The Stern Box
Okay.
hoping to keep the same price, just so everyone know. We're hoping to keep that the same price. But for the Advent calendar, I want to do it, but I want it to be. I want it to be homey. That's the one thing that's kept us from doing this is a lot. And again, I'm not bashing on anyone's boxes out there. That they do amazing boxes. But it almost feels like it's something that you can pick up at Michael's, like it's pre-made boxes and like the moment's not there, like you open up, you're like, oh, that's sweet. And that's your day. I really, really want it to be, they open it and they have reaction from it. And this is one of the things that everyone has to understand, that if I do an Advent box, and it's not keeping me from doing it by any means, but if I do an Advent box, it's going to be based around Christianity, because
Amen.
you can't have an Advent box counting down to the birth of our Savior and not saying anything about him at the end. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves, guys. Again, that's not bashing anyone else out there in the world. That's me. And so I really want to do one that embraces that. And I want people to have moments that are really special. I'll give you guys, if I ever do a box, this is probably going to be in the box, just to let everyone know. I would love to put in the box something special and something that people can think about. Like, I would love to wrap one of the gifts in swaddling clothes.
How cool would that be?
So that when you have it, you get that moment of like, this is how he entered, like this is trash. I would have thrown this away, but that's how he entered this world. And I want people to have that feeling. I want people to have the feeling that I have for it. And so if I do an Advent box, it's going to be coming out. I'm going to be like, guys, this is a Christian Advent box. I'm going to be blatantly honest with everyone, because that's important to me. And it's important to our family. It's important to what we do here. And, like there are fundamental things in the Savior's life that are incredibly important, like frankincense and myrrh. Do people know what that is? Do people?
Absolutely. You don't know anymore.
And my dad did something, and it was really emotional for me, this one. My dad bought a original, what they would have thought the coin looked like back in the time of
Right.
He bought this original coin, and he made a mold out of it, and he made these coins that were like really, really cool. And he got some leather and he made a little sack pouch of it. Like it was like the currency back then. And then my dad gave it to me. I was like, this is super cool. He's like, yeah, that's currency from back then. Yeah. And then he said, and that's what the Savior was sold for. And
It's your way.
It changes your thing. I mean, I kid you not, it's as much as what fits in the palm of your hand. And I looked it up, like of today's value, or like that material, like it's silver, right? Of that today's value, I'm like, this is $300.
Right.
And my dad's like, well, back then with inflation and all of that, it would have been like, 50,000. Like, Dad, that's $50,000. Like, that's not for a life, and that life,
You can't imagine.
And so, like, for me, I want people to have that moment and that experience of seeing the swaddling clothes, of seeing this is what he was sold for, nothing, and that you can really enjoy. Zach has the coin there.
Oh, let me see. Wow.
This is a replica. This is not an original.
It's a replica, and it's worth.
But that's a silver coin of, I can't remember what it's called, but it's molded from the Roman coin that my dad has.
And
Wow,
it's worth.
that's beautiful.
It's worthless. You know, like it's not comparable to a life.
No,
And in my family, we talk about the Savior often. It's part of what we do. And we all have that medallion that everyone keeps in different places. I keep it in my truck. I always have, because that's where I see it the most.
right.
And, you know, it baffles me. Going back to the Advent box, I want everyone to have the moments that I've had, the baffledness of these experience of like, this is what they wrapped him in. I mean, you're talking about the King of Kings. You're talking about all of this.
It's mind-blowing.
And it's mind-blowing. And not only is it mind-blowing, but that was just reality.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it makes you think that now that I'm sitting here in a first world country, that, you know, my biggest worry today is like, am I gonna have a hamburger or a hot dog? You know, like that's my worry in life. Like I don't have the stresses that they had back then, and I'm so grateful for the time period that I live in. And yet my Savior had nothing.
Absolute.
And it makes me want to pay it forward. It's humbling to me that the greatest of all doesn't need riches. It doesn't need that brand new sewing machine. It doesn't need, you know, like it just doesn't need that. Obviously, I think that everyone should enjoy their lives, and everyone works really hard for their money. Like
Absolute. And
I still agree with that. But, you know, is it going to kill you to take 30 minutes a day for an Advent box to have a moment?
I'm with you.
So that's 2023, guys. That box will probably come out.
I'm going to hold you to it.
You can. I'm going to try and make it as affordable as possible as everyone else, but everyone has to understand that when this box comes out, it's a Christian box. It's based off Christian belief, and it's also a moment box. It's not a fabric box.
Absolute. And
fabric in
write
it.
my name down in case I'd miss it.
Yeah. And it still will have fabric. It'll still be a fun time and everything like that, but everyone needs to understand that when they open up box number 3, it's going to be like, that is so cute. This fabric's so great. Everything like that. Box number 4, it's the babe in swaddling clothes.
It's going to be mind-blowing.
It's going to be like that. So
absolute.
And I can't believe I did like 5 years ago. It just, I haven't done it yet because it means a lot to me. So I want to make sure it's done right and that everyone gets to have it.
Absolute. And they can buy it if they want. And if not, don't bash it.
Yeah.
Absolute. Someone's asking, would you consider a pre-cut just for the go kits? Just a sew and go kit. I'm sorry, I didn't word that correctly. Would you consider a pre-cut kit just a sew and go kit?
We've been working on that for like 3 months.
It's in the works.
We're trying to figure out a way to do it that doesn't cost an arm and a leg because of the labor, and we're getting closer.
Pre-cut doesn't mean pre-cut for the person receiving it doesn't mean that no cutting was involved to get it to them.
Yeah,
and every single piece has to be cut out.
So it's coming. We're trying to figure it out. But I also don't want to do a log cabin quilt like every other person that's a pre-cut quilt. It's like I want it to be cool. So it's taking a lot of time to figure out how to do it.
I've got messages coming in on my phone now as well. What kind of a camera system are you mutating over to?
We can't talk about it because it is.
You'll have to see it.
You'll have to see it. Our new camera system is, I don't want to call it proprietary, but definitely how many wires and cords and cameras it takes to do it is definitely proprietary.
It's not standard, right?
And so, but it's its own unique software. It's all that kind of stuff. It's made for us. It's been programmed by us. All that.
Oh, cool. Okay, prices.
But we use a Canon camera.
Your retreats, how do you price that out? I've got 3 messages while I'm sitting here. Is that one like flat price for each level?
Yeah. So there's 3 levels. Well, actually, I shouldn't call them levels.
Well, I don't know what you call them. If I live in Las Vegas, that's level 1. You know,
Yeah.
if I'm
We-
traveling from my area, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go to the casino when I'm done.
Yeah, we call them the packages here. We got the locals, because if someone just wants to be a local and do all that, they're totally cool with that. You have the joint room, so you're sleeping in the same room with someone else. Your own bed, guys. Like, we don't believe that, like, everyone gets their own bed. Everyone needs a good night's
You
sleep.
don't have to share like the
No.
walls.
We don't even offer that as an option. But they're like, hey, like, me and my friend want to come. It's okay. We'll like share a room, cut costs and all that. We're like, no. Everyone gets their own bed. Everyone needs a well night rest because we have a good time. And then option 3 is you want your own room. So those are 3 options.
Option 4 is RV.
Oh, we also offer RV if you want RV. So those are the 4 options. Nobody did RV, which is understandable. We're during a time of the year that's kind of hot here, so that's understandable. I want to say,
Like bottom price for like if they live out there to your top of the line. That gives them an idea.
that.
I know I'm asking the hard questions.
Is it fine if I pull it up?
You
Sorry.
go ahead and do whatever you got to do.
I should know this off the top of my head, but this, guys, we've only
It's
done this
new.
once.
It's new.
And I'm not going to tell you guys that we're a cheap retreat by any means. However,
You
we
get
are-
what you pay for.
well, we're not a cheap retreat, but it's absolutely cheap for what we offer. It's a 5-day event. Most people are charging $400 or $500 for a 3-day event or a 2.5-day event. Ours is a 5-day event. It's just different. Oh, there we go. So if you did the retreat, no amenities, that means you're going to get to and from our store. You're taking care of your hotel and all that kind of stuff. It was $600. It's a 5-day long retreat. If you wanted RV, it was $750, which in Las Vegas, it's normally like $50 a day for RV, so it's quite a steal. If you wanted a shared room, that's $900. But you have to realize that also part of this feature here, you're picked up from the airport by us. You're also transferred to your hotel by us. You're transferred back and forth from hotel to the store by us.
So that's included in that one.
That's included. To get a Uber from the Las Vegas airport to somewhere is $80, which is what it is. So it's quite the money savings there. But anyways, your shared room is $900. Your exclusive room is $1,200, which a week in Vegas for $900.
And the
isn't
flight's
bad.
not that bad either.
Yeah, flights really aren't bad. Flights, you cover your own flights, obviously there. That also includes your sewing machine, so you don't have to worry about sewing machines at all. You get 4 free classes during the event. Breakfast and dinner every single day, snacks all day long. What else? A party every night. I mean, that's obvious.
That's a given.
And you're going to get some unique experience here. For instance, I have a rep coming on Thursday night, and you're going to be able to see what I do and the nightmare that I deal with. And so you're going to be able to see 2020-23 fabrics, and you're going to be able to write up your orders and all that. And it's going to be really fun and all that. But then you're also going to get the retail price of what that actually looks like. And so you get the scary moment that you guys think your bills are scary after D-Stash. Wait until you see me. It's a whole another level of like, for instance, if you buy one collection of K-Facet, so one bolt of everything for K-Facet's new collection, with some pre-cuts, you're looking at like $15,000 retail, and that's up front. You have to
Right.
you have to pay that and hope that it sells. And that's with every single collection.
Yeah, you have to front it.
And so people are going to get to have my experience of dealing with these amazing people who are absolutely amazing, but also seeing what bills look like, seeing what this industry looks like, and when a line doesn't work out, what that costs you. Like it's part of the industry. So that's gonna be really fun. We've got amazing projects all week long. And one thing that's really unique about what we're doing is that we have 4 free classes. Every single morning you come in and you have a free class. And that class is 100% done by Soya. You get a packet and you get to start sewing. So it's just a fun class, and you get to learn a technique. It's just fun, and you don't have to think about it. And if you don't like the class, it was free. Like it doesn't matter, but at least you get to learn 4 techniques.
Now, is this retreat, is it in the Soya store?
Yep, it's in our building.
So if I flew out there, I'd still be able to shop, right?
Yeah. So we're different in that sense too. We don't close down our building for this. It's crazy. Obviously, we have to actually build a new classroom to house our secondary classes. The whole thing is new to us. So like everyone has to understand that. We had no idea about all the hidden costs for us by any means. Like I just bought 10 new ironing boards. I just bought 10 new irons. Like there's a lot of things that we had to do in preparation for this. It's been really fun, obviously. Like we enjoy what we're doing. But our big thing is we're trying to have an amazing retreat that at the end of a retreat, everyone says, I want to do this again. Like
absolute.
Our retreats are themed. So that's a little different too about us. It's Las Vegas Baby is the theme this time. So everything's kind of Vegas theme. We're going to go out on I think it's Wednesday night to go see like the Bellagio and go see some of the strip. It's going to be really fun for everyone. So it's all about Vegas. And then next retreat, cancel everything Vegas, something new. Like we put on full blown retreats and then new ones come out.
That is so cool.
It's just like the subscription box, but on retreat basis.
Oh man, that's I'm like, he's sitting here going, I know.
Well, and not only that, for the husbands, I don't know if your husband, does he golf? Is he a golfer?
No, he gambles.
Oh, gambles. Okay.
He likes blackjack.
So what's really nice about the hotel that we use, we don't use one of the hotels on the strip. They're extraordinarily overpriced, and they're extraordinarily overpriced in everything. And so we use a local casino here. You have to realize that in Vegas, casinos are everything. Like our casinos are our movie theaters, our bowling alleys, our ice skating rinks. So casinos have gambling side and.
Yeah, he likes the Golden Nuggets where we go when we are out there.
Gotcha.
I don't like the strip. I like Fremont Street.
Fremont Street, right?
Yeah.
He's old school.
We use the Red Rock. The Red Rock is a beautiful, beautiful one, and it's way more locals. And so like your blackjack tables are going to be way less expensive for the buy-ins and all that. You get to play and have a better time. You're like 10 minutes away from one of the best golfing places here in Las Vegas. And we try to make it good for the husbands too, because we have a lot of people bringing husbands. And, if the husbands need a ride to somewhere that's close, we've got them. It's not a big deal.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll be calling you up on that one. Let me see. I've got 2 questions in the chat. Can you, Amy, I'm asking now, sweetheart, can you accommodate special dietary needs like a dairy allergy?
We can to a certain extent, like we had somebody come to a class like a year and a half ago that couldn't eat vegetables, couldn't eat wheat, couldn't eat, like that. There's an extent to that where we say, listen, tell me what you can have, and I'll go to the grocery store and get that. It's
easier that way.
It's easier that way. But every day we have, your proteins, your vegetables, your salads, your fruits. Like anyone can eat and have a really good meal. Obviously, if you have something crazy, we are mindful of that. I think we have peanut allergy this time, so like we're extraordinarily mindful of that. But we also tell people to be mindful of that if you have it. Like, if there's a question, don't eat it, because we don't want that at all.
If you can't be in the same building with somebody who opens up a bag of peanuts, don't come.
Don't come.
Someone in the building may open up a bag of peanuts.
Yeah, we do all that, but like, we have people coming this retreat who are in wheelchairs and stuff like that. We have completely good for all that kind of stuff. Good for all the meals. Good for all that. We really try to cater to that as much as possible.
How many does it hold at one time?
75. Yeah.
Big one.
Yeah.
I just attended one and paid a lot more than what you're asking me to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But did you enjoy yourself?
I learned a lot.
Good.
That's all that matters. It's what I was there for, to learn.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. we specialize in education, obviously, but we're also fun.
Absolute.
Yeah.
I loved all the ladies that I met there. I met some amazing people. Let me see. We'll help you film the next episode, Kathleen Champ.
So what?
Zach does amazing woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
The best part of the retreat will be spending time with the Soya family and the team members. Absolutely. That's the added bonus you're not being charged for.
Well, and there's way more than that than what people think they're probably going to be. Like my mom's going to be in town during those days. My dad's actually one of the drivers for driving people back and forth. Rami and her fiance are here. So like you'll be able to see him without seeing him because it's impossible.
So you hide him just a little bit.
Well, something that's odd about this quilt store is that we have a lot of men and we have a lot of male team members too. And so it's funny because people are like, oh, we know exactly who Rami's fiance is. Like we've met him and all that. And it's like, well, is it Aiden? Is it Jack? Is it, like people are like, oh, I thought it was just the one guy that worked here that we didn't know. It's like, well, there's quite a few of them and they all work here. So, but it'll be a fun time and we'll enjoy it too. So
it'll be a blast. Trying to skim the chat real quick before I let you guys go. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I love the way you were all brought up.
Me too.
Jacob, at least you learned lessons. That was back when you got in trouble.
Yeah.
I love the way you were all brought up, loving the Lord. I happen to have my Soya shirt on today. I'm jelly. I don't have one. I need to be getting one. So yeah, I want to know when we're going to meet. Okay, we've already answered that one. The boyfriend.
Well, we were talking about that thing this afternoon. I'll send a shirt with it. So just like email me your size or text me your size or whatever.
Extra large. I got junk in my trunk.
Gotcha. Well, what I'll do is I'll send you one of the exclusive ones from the Alaska.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. That'll be cool. When are you going to see the murals? We've already answered that. I'm just really quickly skimming, guys.
You're fine. You're fine. After this, we're going back to be dad. So
I don't want to detain you from your children. You don't get enough time.
You're fine. We're going to go, I don't know, bike ride and dinner. And I think my wife made teriyaki chicken tonight with like homemade teriyaki and everything. That'll be nice. That'll be nice. So
I love the balloon peacock print on the line. Great job. Y'all have a winning line. That's from Dietary.
Thank you very much.
It's a fabulous line. Tons of people. Fabulous. I'm just skimming quick.
And it's impossible to say like this line is absolutely amazing and everything, but then it's like, but wait, line 2, like line 1 is absolutely amazing. Line 2 is completely different, but it's still got the same vibe. So
that's going to be so cool.
Yeah. So if you like this line, grab this line because line number 2 isn't quite the same. It's different feel. It's different.
Yeah, I've got it wrote down. I'm going to be scouting for it.
Yeah.
I remember the long beards, fish tank. You guys built a community when we all were so isolated, and that's true. Kathleen Champ, y'all saw her through 2 major surgeries. Mm-hmm. You don't realize they didn't have to be buying. They were just sitting there, and you don't realize how entertaining yous are.
Well, and new system again tomorrow. The system works. The entertainment value is going to go up exponentially. We're very, very excited about that. I'm the vision about this new software and all this. Again, I hope it works. I mean, I'm going down a road that like I hope this works. We have spent so much time and energy into softwares trying to find one that will do what we want it to do to produce the production that we want to produce. And we've been doing that for 2 years. And we think we found one that can possibly do it. And then it's going to take another year to grow it into what we want it to be, obviously, and all that. But
right.
It'll be so much fun. It'll be so much fun.
One of the ones that just come up on my phone, you guys won't have to have the quick fingers like you do now when we're asking for an order.
No, the typey is still happening. That's
He's got the fastest fingers in town, guys.
Right. I had
Whatever
a
you
friend.
do.
I had a friend recently contact me, and they're like, they sat down and were trying to mimic what we were doing while we were live.
I don't know.
And they were trying to do Zach's portion of what he does.
Oh, I could never.
And we're not even live 5 minutes. My phone just blows up from this friend of mine. He's like, how is he doing this? And I'm like, it's the reason why we call it typey, like you typey, you know, and my friend's been wanting to do what we do for a long time and doesn't want to do it how we do it. He wants the easy way out. And I'm just like, I don't know what it is. We don't have it. So
I love to sit there. I think I get mesmerized, and so is my husband, because he's not even looking at the screen most of the time. He's just looking like this. And that's why I'm like, when I get the invoice, I'll know whether I got it or not. You know what I'm saying? Because he knows those numbers and he knows right where the buttons are.
Oh yeah. Once you do it long enough, and it changes things. So
always please share. Let me see. I love seeing how you guys are spreading your info but not pushing it, meaning about God. Absolutely. I know for us, we're keeping God in it first.
Yeah. Well, and
sure.
And
Battle Brody 2.0.
Oh yeah.
Becca's saying Battle Brody. Hey Becca, we could do a road trip, girl. Well, a fly trip.
Well, whenever you guys want to.
How cool. Joe says he's got to come with us, so you'll have to bring your husband too.
Well, there is an. I probably shouldn't talk about it, but whatever.
We'll talk offline.
There's an event coming out at the end of next year. Cannot talk anything about it because people want to steal this idea. I already know they do. But it's something that definitely you and Becca will want to be there for. So,
all you got to do is shoot us the dates. You don't even have to tell me what it is. I'm in.
Well, we
in Vegas and we're down.
We're waiting for some finalized things. The event will be one of the largest, most crazy events.
Just stop.
Anyone's ever done. It's gonna be amazing.
It sounds like it's gonna be a blast.
We'll have to change topics because TM can't keep a secret.
Okay.
No, I'm just too excited about it. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing.
I'm trying to get him to spill the tea.
No, the only tea that you need to know is that everyone's gonna want to be there, but not everyone can. We just can't house that many.
Oh wow!
That's the only thing. But if you're a YouTuber, we'll try to get you in for sure.
Oh, that'll be a blast. I'd love it. Donna, if you were going to do a road trip, you better swing by and visit me.
Right.
Oh my God, that would be a blast. Could you imagine? I don't know if Vegas could handle us. We about tore up Virginia.
Right.
My husband kept saying Virginia wasn't going to be the same.
Right.
Yeah, we had a blast. Well, look, guys, it's almost 9 o'clock and I didn't realize I kept you that long. The gift of gab, you know.
6 years.
All good.
Yeah. So with that being said, you guys stay with me a second. Everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a blast. I couldn't imagine a more fun experience than what we've had tonight with the guys. I hope that in the future I can get them to circle back and we might do this again. No guarantees, you know.
If you ever want to do like a sew-in or anything like that.
Oh, I would love it. I love collabs.
One of us is available this month. No go.
I'm booked through January right now.
Yeah, it's October. So if you want to put some on the books, let us know and we'd love to do it.
Oh, absolutely. I think that would be a blast. We'll work out something and I'll shoot you guys some dates. That would be off the hook. I'll get Becca involved. It's all of us.
Yeah, bring the whole crew in. Like
how cool would that be? I'll organize it. We'll get something down.
Bring in Becca, bring in Quilt Marine, bring in the sewing channel, bring in everyone. We'll
that would be a blast. Absolutely. We'll work it out. We'll make this happen.
The problem is there'll be no sewing at that point. Like we'll be just having too much fun at that point. And
I know, right? We can all bring a tiny project. It's not going to get done.
A single half-square triangle for me.
I just got the gift of gab. I'm like Becca.
Right.
So with all that being said, you guys going about your way. Have a fabulous evening. God bless you. And thank you for joining us. And make sure you tune in over. So yeah, you won't be disappointed.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks so
See you
much,
guys.
Donna. Have a
Take
good
care,
one.
guys. You guys stay with me a minute. Goodbye, guys.